Hello, my name is Molly. I am a fan of the brick, and I just got back from a trip to Europe where I visited so many Lego stores. How many? Find out. My first stop was London, which, as you may know, has a particularly awesome Lego store in Leicester Square. But guess what? It was closed for refurbishment while I was there. But I did visit the Westfield Lego store, which was inside a mall. It turned out to be the most generic, uninteresting Lego store. No London merch that you couldn't find anywhere else, and the only interesting thing was the display case currently occupied by a mock from a local London Lug member. Still, I did buy a couple of minifigs here, and I hoped that my next Lego store visit would be more exciting. From London, I took a train to Paris and met a friend there. On our second full day, we went to Disneyland Paris. Outside that theme park is a shopping area known as Disney Village, and there's a Lego store there. Now, this was more like it. There were a bunch of Disney-centric Lego creations, including a sculpture of Mickey as the Sorcerer's Apprentice, and a bunch of cool mosaics, all Disney-related. In addition to the usual Lego store elements, the pick-a-brick wall, the merchandise, this store also had a minifigure factory. What is the minifigure factory? Well, so you buy this box from the cashiers, they're about $12 each, and you take it over to these kiosks that can scan the barcode. Then you use these screens to A, choose a nickname, which will appear on a printed 1x3 brick, and B, customize a minifig torso. You can use any of the presets available, but you can also draw, use text, add stamps. Finished, you hit the check mark, and then wait for your stuff to be printed. It takes about 10 or 15 minutes, but that can vary depending on how busy the store is. I customized my minifig with one of the 90 years of Lego prints on the front of the torso and the words Paris 2022 on the back. The next day, we planned to visit the Les Halles Lego store in Paris near the Centre Pompidou. The website says it closes at 8:30 p.m., but when we got there about 8:02, they weren't letting anyone in. We took a few pictures of the window displays, and I vowed I'd return the next day. I did. This store featured some cool Paris-related builds, including the Arc de Triomphe and Notre Dame. It even carried 2 Parisian Lego items, a keychain light and a luggage tag. I got the luggage tag because, look at that puppy. The next stop on our European tour was Belgium, and although we visited several cities there, we didn't stop in Brussels, where there is a Lego store. We did visit a street market in Bruges, though. And yes, they had Lego, and yes, I bought some. Our next true Lego store experience was in Amsterdam. We had no sooner checked into our hotel when we decided we needed to go find this store. It turned out to be amazing with 2 stories and a ton of Netherlands-centric decor. I could have spent an hour or more in here. In fact, maybe I did. They had a minifigure factory too, and I made one that says I Heart Amsterdam on it. Can you love a city after only being there a few hours? If it has a Lego store that's this great, you can. So if you're keeping track, I've now been to 4 countries and 4 Lego stores. We had at this point about a week left in our trip and exactly 1 more country to visit, Denmark. How many Lego stores could we possibly find in the birthplace of Lego, you ask? Well, our first stop in Denmark was Copenhagen. There are actually 2 Lego stores in central Copenhagen, and they're not that far apart. The one called the Lego Store Copenhagen is located in this iconic shopping district, and the other is Lego Tivoli, which is next door to Tivoli Gardens. Both are worth a visit, but we'll start with the Lego Store Copenhagen. This store keeps shorter hours, but it does have quite a few displays that the other store doesn't. It also has a cool wall of Lego logos from years past. The Lego Store Tivoli is a slightly bigger store and keeps longer hours. At this one, I was able to find a Copenhagen luggage tag. This store also has a minifigure factory. Both stores have their fair share of cool displays, so if you're ever in Copenhagen, I say visit both of these stores. They're only about a mile apart from each other along a pedestrian-friendly thoroughfare. But if you only have time to visit one, I'd say go for Tivoli. 5 countries, 6 Lego stores, and next, we're headed to Billund. We only had 1 full day here, but we decided to make the most of it. We got to Legoland right as it opened and spent about 4 hours there. They, of course, have their own Lego store, and it was massive. It didn't have a minifigure factory or a lot of models, but it did have all the merch you could ever want. We only found one exclusive element here, though, and that was a torso that said, "I love Legoland." Next, we went to the Lego house. I plan to do a separate video about our time here, but one important thing to note is that there is a Lego store located within, and you don't need to have a Lego house ticket to visit it. Here we encountered our fourth and final minifigure factory. There are 6 exclusive sets that are sold here. Our luggage at this point was already pretty full from all the souvenirs and stuff we'd gathered along the way on our trip. So we knew we couldn't buy all of these sets. I decided to buy the Lego house set and a small keychain and a couple of minifigs for the minifig factory. But while I was waiting for my figs to be printed, I saw that one of the duck set designers was signing the boxes. And I'd been on the fence about whether I should get the duck, and right then and there I caved. 8 Lego stores. What more could we want? Well, how about another one? Final Lego store was at the Billund Airport. We weren't sure if it'd even be open since our flight was super early in the morning, pre-6 a.m., but it was. There was nobody running it, but there was a sign that said you could pay for your items at the duty-free kiosks just like a few feet away. So naturally, I bought the one and only Billund Airport set, a set you can only get in that airport after you go through security. My luggage was now bulging. Seriously, I had to close my backpack zippers with a carabiner since they wouldn't come together naturally anymore. But I'd done it. So that's it, you guys. 9 Lego stores, and that's not even including the tiny pop-up one we went to at an art gallery in France. I had a lot of fun, saw a lot of cool models, bought way too much, and now I'm home. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to me on Instagram or Twitter as Mo Makes Stuff Up. Hit that subscribe button. Come back again soon.